Okay. So, hey, I'm going to start with the question. Hey, do you ever get stoned with somebody and they start saying like some kind of weird shit that sounds deep, but then you figure out later that it's just like a bunch of nonsense? Like they'll be like I used to get stoned with this guy. He'd say stuff like God is cat spelled backwards, and then I'd spend like weeks like trying to figure that out. Like, God is cat spelled backwards, and then my other friend would be like, oh, that's Billy. He's illiterate. He doesn't know how to spell or anything. And I was like, fuck. I thought I had the universe figured out for a second there. So that has nothing to do with this poem whatsoever, but there's a line in that bit that's also in this poem, and so now you can like hear the line in the poem and be like, hey, that was from earlier. That guy plagiarized that from himself from earlier. All right. Poetry is like a religion. We lost our freedom when we left our prison. We lost our freedom when the Holy Ghost left. Dreamboat eyes with an evil necklace. The atheist says my poems are a con, a put on, put upon the pit boss. The whole lot of them are pissed off, pacified by pork injections, glowing like a campfire wrapped in chicken wire. Fast food workers collect change from the floor of the drive-thru and go home. A sleeping dog dreaming of a sleeping dog dreaming. You need structure in your life. Your head lies above a funeral parlor. A lead-heavy head hallucinates, eyes like apples bobbing in a barrel. God is cat spelled backwards. 2 dogs had me cornered on my way home from work. I swung my briefcase and yelled until they left. I felt the air move that time. If that briefcase had been filled with old poems, then that would be an easy metaphor to write. It was, by the way, and that's the secret of this one. So I grew up in the Midwest, and I hate the people romanticize the Midwest, like Kevin Costner and shit. That motherfucker's from California. Because when I think of this is what I think of when I think of the Midwest. I was watching that movie Basketball Diaries, with Leonardo DiCaprio. And he plays like a junkie in it. And at a certain point, his addiction gets so bad, he starts selling his hot, tight ass pussy out on the streets. And this old businessman pays him $20 so Leo could let him suck his dick. And I was watching it with these 2 hicks, and they get really confused by that. They're like, you paid. Wait a second, he's the one paying, and he's blowing Leonardo DiCaprio. He's like, if I were gay and I was paying $20, I'd be the one getting the blowjob. And I was like, why? So you could close your eyes and think of a woman? I had to explain being gay to these guys. And so they immediately thought I was gay. And that's what I think of when I think of the Midwest. That and union busting and driving to Wisconsin to get nitrous oxide. Alright, this is called The Car. And Ann is tap dancing across my windshield as the car ricochets from point A to point B. The ant is swinging a top hat. The car is held together with duct tape and glue. Work, money. I remember the feeling of my fingers as they spied the tender seam of her leg. Spinning 360s with the emergency brake in a snow-piled parking lot to the glassy plucks of the organ solo from Riders on the Storm. There's a killer on the road. His brain is a baked potato. Clouds of porn store laughing gas, head like the cat that stepped on the rake. The engine somehow survives the border of Wisconsin. An arid spring. It hasn't rained since disco. The sky is a brown penny on a railroad track, smooth and faceless. We write our absurd final act in secret. The Midwest has no need for the dreams of scarecrows jittering in fields of baseball ghosts. Bags of pennies spill from the sky. Rooms are fractals. The Ramada Inn is red. The Motel 6 is blue. She wants to come over, then she doesn't. Then she does, popping her fingertips and uncrumpling her smile like a town so much different than your own. Okay. So I wanted to be a rapper when I was younger. And I was trying to figure out a name when I was going to be a rapper. And you ever heard of C Murder?
Yeah.
So I want to be like C Murder, but C Murder's in jail now for murder, obviously. I want to be like C Murder, but I want to have more of an emphasis on lyrics and less of an emphasis on murder. So I was gonna call myself C Word. So this is about Biggie and how like they romanticize dying young, even though it's just because you really just don't have a retirement plan. That's really why people do that. All right, this is called Eating Spumoni with Death. The ache you burned softly upon my body, the cold shaking bone rattle when you told me I looked young. I am the oldest I have ever been. I asked Death to name some of her favorite rappers of the 1990s. She sat across the table holding her smooth white breath like a jerk. We place the elderly in their beds before the sun goes down. Each one of them is based upon a true story. Stay positive in this cold white of the sun. I rewrote this poem like a double agent sabotaging the coded language of his pockets. On the other hand, life is short and we ache to get it right. The kid on the news was murdered for his stripes, not his chains, but his windpipe. We recall some of our favorite phrases of his and dissect them. The mood changes awkwardly, and then an awkward chuckle. It's nice to share a dessert with someone and not have to talk about Rilke or Rilke. I don't know how to say that name, but I wrote it down anyways, like a fucking idiot. All right. Okay, so this is about my high school reunion that I didn't go to. Hey, I was bullied a lot when I was younger, and in high school, I was bullied so badly that my parents had to come down to the school and show the bullies how to do it. Right? They were like, "You do this really badly." They're like, "Oh, you flush the toilet before you dunk his head in there? That isn't right. Like, you never heard of waterboarding?" All right, it's called High School Reunion. Regarding the rumor that I am dead, I am not dead. Gossip regarding the last time the trees hit middle age. It's summer. They still have their leaves, but the trees are growing skeptical. I feel sketchy, sketched in. The music is cool tonight. I'm not quite grown up. I'm not quite ground up from the ground up. You still look like that same poolside mammal tan, sipping from a glass of something orange and red, spinning a ball on your nose. You ask me what I got going on. Well, I'm currently trying to get something off the ground. It's a cruise ship with paper wings. I am a director. I eat Neapolitan ice cream sandwiches for breakfast, concoct survival methods in restrooms, while old men smoke in bars discussing the IRS. For the past few years, I've been developing a project that consists solely of a single shot of myself having a seizure, sped up and looped. You didn't see me at the reunion, or you didn't recognize me. I'm not quite grown up or ground up from the ground up, but I was there. I remember the whole gymnasium was pregnant with paranoia. No one trusted what anyone else had to say. Kids, no. Married, no. But I love weddings and I hate funerals. Regarding the rumor that I am dead, I am still alive and I kissed it and I missed it. Did I make out with you inside the trunk of some old tree near the football field? Or was that a dream that I had? Yes, I have dreams like that. They're like cruise ships with paper wings. Not quite ground up, but I will grow up to be just like you, but different. All right, this is a short one. This is, you know how people are alien. Are we that close to the end?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So you know how people, they're alienated by technology and all that stuff, and not to sound too foo-foo. So I'll just give you my example. I watch a lot of porn on my phone. I blow so many loads onto this phone that Suri is starting a Me Too campaign against me, and it's a lot easier to porn is so great now. It's just a lot easier to do that than go out and talk to people. So, this is called Blue Screens. I worshipped you in such privacy you couldn't possibly remember me, risking only that we met once briefly, like bodies moving on and off a train, like bodies moving behind a blue screen, faces like blue screens, bodies like alien film stills, like a team of oneself falling through clouds and plunging into plumps of plum belly ocean, blue screens like oceans, I once saw a couple dancing on top of a table, and I knew it was a lie, like loose connections, like a letter written to your distance, like bodies moving on and off a train, and with them entire worlds that won't. All right, I got one more. This is a special one. This is the closer. All right, so in 2007, there was a prophet, and this prophet's name was Kara Cunningham. Well, that's her name now. His name back then was Chris Croker, and he predicted. He made a prediction. Well, he didn't make a prediction, but this is what he said. I'll just tell you what. He had a viral video, and it went. And it was in the viral video. He was like, "Hey, leave Britney alone, Hey, you're exploiting her mental state and her emotional issues. Don't disrespect the pizza parlor." So, and in 2007, I wrote a poem about Britney, and it was I imagined she would become a revolutionary, and she would destroy, she would revolt against the media machine that built her. And lo and behold, last year she tweeted Marx, which was dope. Just for the record, I am not sexually attracted to this woman whatsoever. I just like the whole thing. I just like the whole thing. Hillary Duff. I'd like to put my penis in her vagina, if you know what I mean. Not so much Britney. Alright. This is called Teenage Crime Wave. There was me and there was Britney, and I wrote this in 2007. I can't emphasize this enough. There was me and there was Britney, and we found ourselves hassled just around the corner from the liquor store for looking a little too cute. Oh, wait, one more thing. This was written in New Haven, Connecticut, and at the time there were a lot of kids on bicycles who were shooting each other. What? It's true. There were bicycle gangs that were driving around New Haven, Connecticut, and 2 or 3 people got killed. I'm not joking. Okay. All right, so there was me and there was Britney, and we found ourselves hassled just around the corner from the liquor store for looking a little too cute in the type of neighborhood where they write R.I.P. on the sidewalk in hot pink chalk. Cop A had me pressed against the cruiser, his right hand balls deep in my front pocket asking for sharp objects. He pulled out a box cutter and tossed it to the grass. "Better be careful with that thing," he said. "You go flashing that around here and you'll get your ass handed to you. These kids are crazy." And he sort of had a point. Things were humid and a little screwy that summer. This was around the time Britney had shaved her head and attacked that car with an umbrella, and so of course I became infatuated with her. It was the summer one of those bicycle kids had pounded some rounds into a random crowd until the head exploded like a melon beneath a school bus, just balls deep into puberty and permanently nailed like shooting fish in a puddle. From the New Haven Register, word in the neighborhood is that the shooting was supposed to be the video to accompany a song one of the suspects had recorded. But local news was not my department. Britney had me drooling like a dunce in heat. This was post-python wrapped around her shoulders. This was post-award ceremonial blonde-on-blonde action. Dubbed the mother of a variety of wrongs, juggling infants around the fast food drive-thru. We would stroll out to the bars in the evening where she would try to draw me into fights with the boys that annoyed her. She would lock her keys in the house, so I'd have to climb up through the balcony into the living room where a poster of herself was pasted to the wall with sweat, and upon her sun-kissed belly I had scrawled, "The pure products of America go crazy," in hot pink marker. She had a cat that would eat a crumb from my thumb, and if the crumb wasn't there, the cat would bite the thumb. We had a video camera with night vision. There were flash bulbs all over the bodies covered in lime Kool-Aid. Gangs of roving children on bicycles at night with video cameras and pistols jacking Johnson & Johnson for barbecue Fritos. Some kid named Justice, spelled Just Us, was mistook for someone else and wiped right off his bicycle by a pistol from the passenger side on his way home for supper. And, quote, the car rolled further down the street until they realized they were being followed, and they sprinted balls deep into curfew, bones sprouting upwards, fast like elevator cars, and the skin can't keep up. It tears like paper and flaps like window shades. Mom's busy, go show daddy. She was a mother with a variety of daddies. Vegas is her daddy these days. I remember when she bought us a pair of bicycles, but the cigarettes ruined them. Some murky part of me wanted to buy her a pistol, wanted her to be the daddy. I had a fantasy where she became a star of a different sort, one who appears on television dressed in black leather and a beret, presses a pistol to the neck of Mike Douglas. This is Britney Spears with a communication from the Popular Girls Front. We declare that there is no justice at the discotheque, no change within the broadcasting system. We demand that art be freed of commercial culpability and that the paparazzi be used for purposes of propaganda. Boredom is hereby declared a capital offense. Every teenager will be considered independent of the thoughtless exception of misdirection, the violence of banality, and vice versa. We shall be delivered out here in the open with passionate cries like a prom queen splayed out, delivering her secret right there in the center of the dance floor.